All right, everybody, I am here and thanks for joining me on this important update tonight. Now, we're not looking for a lot of snow in the forecast period across much of the region, but the wind is going to be terrible, and what snow that falls in narrow bands that's heavy will produce brief periods of nasty winds. We're going to get down to the details you need to know about your neighborhood, from eastern Montana to Wisconsin, north South Dakota, all the way into our area as this system works its way through. I'll answer your questions toward the end, so hold those, but don't hold your comments, your likes, and your shares of this content, because that helps spread this live event to more and more folks. Where travels and travel issues will be through Thursday, your Thursday analysis for Friday and into Saturday, and another shot on Sunday. What are you talking about, Hutch? Let's get started with a look at what we have going on. We'll time out those winds in a second. Here's a look at the snowfall. Now, this doesn't include what has fallen today in the Arrowhead, but notice that we're seeing less pink. The reason is there was some snowfall in this area today. We're not adding that onto it. Much of North Dakota has a chance at least some snowfall. Northern South Dakota, at least some snowfall. Where you see the light blues, not so much. And we'll go in closer, and this goes all the way through the Great Lakes region, just north of Chicago, most of Michigan going to see some light snow, with the exception of you folks next to the Great Lakes there, particularly in western portions of Michigan. Lake effect snow there. And for northern parts of Minnesota, northern parts of Wisconsin, the game is on for you. Now, where we have snow and where we have wind or blow means BS, blowing snow, and that will be a problem. You can see where it's tracking, and that is where the problems will be. But when? Let's talk a little bit about the timing of our winds. It's ripping right now. So we head into your Friday morning. Look at this yellow area here. That's the strongest wind. Eastern Montana, not much snow for you, but you're going to get very windy. Gusts over 50 miles per hour. There's a wind warning for you. Now, we do have the high winds extended right through the Black Hills, all the way down into parts of the panhandle of Nebraska and western parts of Wisconsin. Excuse me, the other Y state, Wyoming, the cowboy state. All right. Now, as we take a look at our area here in the Red River Valley and our area out here in northwest and north central Minnesota, we have some gusty winds, but the I-29 corridor seeing some of the strongest. You see these narrow little lines? That's really cool looking. But what you're looking at there is that wave effect of the atmosphere. And we'll see these narrow little bands and brief periods of high gusts. That's first thing in the morning, not as strong in the valley. We'll go over your details. But as we head into the midday hours, still kind of a lull in the winds here. It's going to be gusty, but nowhere near what we're seeing out here. Some of the digits, by the way, here, 50 to 70 mile per hour winds in the shadows of the Black Hills out there. So anyone traveling east-west, look out. There's going to be gusty winds right out of the north. How about your late night effects? Well, we'll still see wind, but it will be decreasing out in parts of western South Dakota. Eastern Montana will still see some ripping winds as well. Just a little bit better. But for all of us, there will be enough wind and enough snow to cause some travel troubles. And I'm going to get to the facts of the matter right away. Let's go right to the little tracker that I put together for us tonight, because timing is everything. If it's blowing, but it hasn't snowed at all, you got no problems. It's just windy, and if you're a high-profile vehicle, then yeah, you may have some problems. Check this out. I got my isobars right out of my pocket, and I said, let's paint those on here. Then let's take a look at the snowfall throughout the day. Here it goes. Light snow. The wind is going to be pretty heavy, but by the time we get to the afternoon, we'll have enough snow, and those isobars are focused here in the valley with the strongest winds as we go through your day into Saturday morning, some fairly stout winds as well. So let me slow this down and we'll take a look at the trajectory of the worst conditions. Now, for tonight and into midnight, we'll start to see bands of snow. That's right. So if you're driving on the Highway 2 corridor, the Highway 200, I-94 corridor, or I-90 corridor, narrow bands of snow, not very wide, will be passing through. Here's where the wind will be strongest. These blue isobars showing up on that snowfall out there, out to the west. So the Highway 83 corridor, seeing snow and blowing snow. Jamestown, not as much snowfall for you, but north into the Devil's Lake Basin, those roads along Highway 2 could get a little tricky. What about behind your melon, Hutch? I live in Minnesota. I got you covered. I can move. I can shake. And take a look at this. We got some moving and shaking to do if you're looking at Minnesota. Now, what you're seeing here is the low pressure center. It's working through the region. The isobars are wide, so the wind is not a problem. It's just snowing. We've been through this before. If you don't like driving in snow, well, you're going to get a little bit. And in fact, it'll snow more prolonged in your area as well. As we advance the forecast here through, you'll see some of the heavier bands of snow and accumulation. This is snowfall accumulation, not the future radar. Because what I'm concerned about is where we have snow piling up and how fast the wind is blowing, causing the blowing snow, or the BS that we're worried about. So here, as you take a look at the northern tier of Minnesota, we have some green. That's some pretty good accumulations. That's just north of Bemidji toward Red Lakes, all the way out into the east portions near, say, Hibbing and your area on out toward Duluth and the North Shore. So pretty gusty winds. And again, look at the timestamp up here by Hutch's Old Melon. That's midnight tonight. Put it into motion, Hutch. Let's get to morning. I'm not out walking my chicken at midnight. I hope you're not walking your chicken at midnight. You're going to want to keep that chicken on a leash because the wind is going to be strong. Now, as we head towards daybreak, here it is, 6 a.m. and the isobars are getting friendly here across parts of western Minnesota and the valley. Our gusts will be pushing 40 miles per hour or more in a few spots. Look at the snowfall accumulation in the northern, say, 5th of Minnesota here, Highway 2 corridor and points north primarily. So Bemidji and those areas picking up some more modest amounts of snow. And then you'll see these narrow little bands of pretty good snowfall amounts across parts of the western Dakotas. Friday morning, looks like the wind isn't too bad in places like Bismarck. You get here towards New Salem, Sioux, and Glen Ullin, down here into Grant County. For you folks in Flasher, how about Sioux County? And you folks in the Napoleon, Moffett, Braddock area, Wishick, the wind starts increasing a bit. Strong winds, snow, and a lot of it. So we'll have some blowing conditions here. Now in the trees of Minnesota, it does slow down. So even though the isobars are close together, if you live in the treed forest here from Bemidji down to Brainerd and you get into those areas, well, I got to tell you what, you're going to have a little help from the winds. But you know how that snow just kind of slows down by those trees and dumps on the road? You've been there. I've driven through it. That's what's going to happen. Gusty north winds will ice up our roads. It will be icy travel for that morning commute. Will it be blizzard conditions? Here's my answer to that. And if you have questions, save it. I want your comments and questions coming up here in a minute. But for now, will it be a blizzard? A blizzard has a specific meteorological definition. And that definition is that we need the winds to blow for 3 hours at a sustained speed of over 35 miles per hour for 3 hours with visibility under a quarter of a mile. It could be blowing snow. It doesn't have to be freshly falling snow, or it doesn't have to be heavy snow. And heavy snow is based on visibility, by the way. So we base snowfall intensity on the visibility. So if you can only see a quarter mile, it don't matter whether those flakes are coming from your neighbors up north in Winkler and Winnipeg, or if the snowflake is falling out of the clouds. You can't see because, well, it's not easy to have vision. Profound. See, you get profound information here on Hutch's weather. Now, the wind is not done. If you take a close look in the Black Hills, those isobars are almost 3 times as close together as they are here. We'll have some gusts over 70 miles per hour in and around the Black Hills. Travelers, truck drivers, and business travelers heading out to the I-90 corridor through that Rapid City area, be advised. It's going to be a little bit on the breezy side. Now let's advance this into the middle of our day and see what you can expect. And again, we're stepping through this so we can track where the wind and the heavier amounts of snowfall will be. Where you see the green, that's relatively heavier snow. It's not heavy. It's not 8 or 10 inches of snow, but enough to blow and drift around. And again, we start to see that the North Shore here in the northern part of Minnesota getting healthy amounts. Look at this, Minneapolis and into northern parts of Wisconsin getting healthier amounts as well as we head through the mid-morning and into your midday hours. The wind is still very strong in western Minnesota. Kind of a lull in some of the wind speeds here, but don't let it fool you. It's going to be pulsy. We're gusty in nature. And it does look like a little relaxation of the isobars. They get farther apart there, but not in the Black Hills. Those blue lines are very, very close together. How long does it last, Hutch Johnson? Well, Hutch Johnson says, let's look at that answer right here with the isobars. Okay, so as we take a look at the tomorrow night forecast, look at this. Did you see how we turned to green in the Red River Valley? When is the greatest chance at accumulating snow here? We could go through much of the day. I'm going to back this up now, so I don't want to confuse anybody, but that's the beauty of Hutch's weather here. I can just go ahead and get the eraser out and back this puppy up. This high-resolution model shows that those snowfall accumulations here in Fargo, the Southern Valley, hey, the Sisseton Hills, the I-29 corridor, all the way out toward the Highway 2 corridor, start building in the afternoon hours and accumulating with the wind. So that's when the travel will be the most impactful to you in the Red River Valley. Is that helpful? Does that help you plan your day? I hope so. Now, if you don't like traveling in this stuff, then my advice to you is follow your gut instinct and just don't travel. If you've done this and been there, as I have, taking kids to hockey tournaments across the entire region, well, then by golly, we've been here and done this before, but you're going to have periods of zero visibility in the afternoon and evening hours because the winds will still be gusting all day long. There'll be periods of breaks, as there always are, but it will have the potential to blow at 40 plus miles per hour throughout the entirety of the day. Heading into the nighttime hours then, as we go into Friday and Saturday, the strongest of wind starts exiting east with the exit of the low pressure system. The wind finally quiets down in the Black Hills as we head towards 9 a.m. on your Saturday morning. And Hutch is getting ready for football, but I got to tell you what, we're having some gusty north wind continuage here in the Red River Valley. So this is a really detailed and a look at where the snowfall will be. And this is a detailed look at where the wind will be and when it will be there. I hope this helps. Let me know with a like. Let me know with a thumbs up or a heart and or a comment to say, was this a helpful way to step through it? I get a lot of questions. What about a trip from Jamestown to Fargo on Saturday morning? I've had those already. Here you go. The wind will be decreased, but we'll have a little bit of snow. And this green shouldn't scare you. This isn't a lot of snow. So let's get to the details on that snowfall forecast, shall we? Let's zoom it on in. And I got to tell you what. Here's what you can expect overnight. Increasing chances of snow out west. Blowing snow is what BS stands for. Don't use your creativity. That's not what we're about here. 50 plus mile per hour gusts in eastern Montana as we start the day and in the Black Hills. There'll be bands of snow across North Dakota, not everywhere and not all the time. And when a band moves over in this wind, it's going to be very difficult to see. Look at the wind gusts. They drop a bit into the central and eastern part of the state. Gusts closer to 40 plus miles per hour at times in the Red River Valley counties of Minnesota. In the treed country of Minnesota, your gusts are going to approach 30 miles per hour, maybe at times a little higher than that. But you know those spots, Rothsay, Fergus Falls. I'm with you out there at Alexandria. It does get a little rough and tumble. And if you're on that Highway 220 corridor there between say the Breckenridge Wahpeton area and out towards Fergus Falls and heading out to the other places to the east, I got to tell you what, Staples, Motley, those areas, you're going to have some wind at times that'll cause some travel troubles. So that's your morning. And now I'm going to take a second here because I am a lucky man. and one of the things I get to do is pass along my love for weather to area kids who sign up to be a Hutch's Weather Kid. Make sure after this broadcast, you go check out my friend Abby Efterfield from Osgood Elementary. Her video is up on hutchesweather.com. Drop a comment for these kids here on my Facebook page or on my YouTube channel as well. They do a wonderful job. Thanks to my friends at Luther Family Ford for supporting kids, education, science. It's a lot of fun. Here's a look at that wind diagram again. The wind is strong in the Black Hills throughout the entirety of the day with periods of gusts over 50, even over 70 miles per hour, near hurricane force winds. Here in the valley all day long, or in the central part of North Dakota and the valley, not quite as strong, but still kissing and exceeding 40 mile per hour winds at times. And now a look at that snowfall forecast as we go through the afternoon. We're going to see the wind continue, still strongest out to the west, still 40 plus miles per hour in the valley, but stronger at times right here in the Red River Valley. I do think we'll see a few peak gusts well over 45 miles per hour in places. Snow continuing right into your evening. How much, Hutch? Come on, get to the facts. All right, I got you. I hear you. This is a look at a high-resolution model with Hutch's numbers on it. Hutch tries to take the model information that I've looked at, several models, pick the one I think has the best bead on it. The European model has done a great job of showing coverage across North Dakota, but now we're starting to see where we could see some bands. Here's what Hutch says. These bands could shift either way easily by 10, but maybe even as many as 30 miles or more, which would put this band of heavier snow. You see this? Most of this entire area across North Dakota will see a ½ inch to 2 inches of snow. Some will see the 2+ inches of snow, and isolated places where you see the pink there, this model's depicting some getting 6 inches of snow. It's going to be very difficult to measure. nonetheless. But if you're traveling anywhere east-west, you're going to go through an area where there's not much snow. Look at this in the valley here. As you look at places like Mayville and on up towards Mackville and all the way up towards the Park River area and Lankin, it looks like there's a little hole right cut out of this system. Fargo Moorhead sits in that same thing. And if you get on either side of us, the amounts go up just a little bit. So I'm calling for a trace to a half of an inch for much of the Red River Valley counties here. And I do think isolated places could see closer to the 1 inch. That's why I have a plus sign on most of these numbers. This narrow, heavier band here does sneak right through the Devil's Lake Basin. So anywhere in the Devil's Lake Basin here, from let's say Rock Lake, Candu, Langdon, all the way sneaking down into Cooperstown, right down into southeast North Dakota, Gwinner, Hankinson, Windmere, your area, there could be a narrow band of heavier snow. Same thing goes for central North Dakota, the James River Valley. You have a chance at seeing some snow. I've had a lot of people comment on the fact that, hey, here in the James River Valley, we just haven't had very much snow this year. There's a chance, but I wouldn't bet on it. So it's one of those things. North winds can actually help with the topography just a little bit. And you have some topography there in the James River Valley and in the Devil's Lake Basin. So where we have uphill wind forcing, then there could be a little bit enhancement of snow in isolated places. You get out in the I-94 corridor between, say, Jamestown and Bismarck, another hole, but then you're going to come across a band of heavier snow in western parts of North Dakota, into northern South Dakota. Got a beautiful email from a friend in Aberdeen. Thank you. You know who you are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for trusting Hutch's weather. The weather there looks like a hole. You're going to have more blow than snow with this particular system across most of the region, but a few of us will have very difficult travel conditions here and there. So don't be surprised by that. Look at where the big winners are, okay? And we said this all earlier, from central Minnesota off to the east. I've got a pretty wide area of 2 to 5 inches here as you go from, say, Duluth area, and then you head out to the west. We're going to see chances of snowfall of around 2 inches as a rule. Some will see over 5 inches of snow, but the best chance of that is as you get into the Arrowhead. We're talking about Ely, we're talking about Grand Marais, points north, and then look at this nonsense. This is a grumpy face. If I had a emoji with a grumpy face, that's what I'd put here. But maybe you're happy up there in Koochiching County. Maybe you're happy up here in the areas up and around the Rainy Lake area, where a beautiful quantity of snow for your enjoyment of the snow machines is on its way. Northern Wisconsin, same thing goes. 5 to 10 plus inches, widely variable depending on your topography, terrain, and of course the addition of that lake effect snow. That's Hutch's snow forecast as we go through. Now let's take a look at that 7-day planner, and this is where we'll get to your questions, so start conjuring those up. Thank you very much for everybody for commenting, for liking. I do appreciate the hearts. It all helps me out a great deal. Now let's talk a little bit about the 7-day. Tomorrow morning you wake up with 15 degrees. It will already be windy. That wind will be out in the northwest, and we'll have about 30-mile-per-hour gusts at times here. There'll be areas of snow more concentrated out west and east of the Fargo Moorhead area. Temperatures fall to around 10 on your drive home, but that is when the conditions in Fargo get the worst, between 5 and midnight on Friday. And we will see a little accumulation here. I'm going to call for 1.1 inches. What do you think? Drop in the comment your forecast. Maybe we'll revisit this after we get our official measurement. And I can guarantee you we're going to get wide varying measurements, because we're going to have drifts and 3 inches here and 2 inches there, but I'm going to go for 1.1, just over an inch for Fargo. 6 below Saturday. It looks like the winds will gradually decrease and will warm up to a balmy 5 degrees as football will have us on the edge of our seats. Denver Broncos, good luck to you. And Buffalo fans, good luck to you. Isn't it fun to be watching football this time of the year? Sunday, we got another weather burp coming out. It's another Clipper-style system. This one comes with another shot of gusty wind. The timing of this looks to be late Saturday night and into Sunday morning. Keep that in mind if you're traveling or heading somewhere to watch football or heading out to church. Just make sure that you know we'll have temperatures steady to slowly rising as we go through the day. It's not ridiculous. We're spending all day in the single digits above and below zero across the region with fresh snow. With the cold Arctic air mass that will be pulling down behind this system, we'll have a couple very cold mornings, but this isn't the coldest of Hutch's forecast. I'll show you what I mean. I've got purple days here for Saturday, brr. Monday, brr. Tuesday, woo. All of those cold. Then we get a little break. Are you calling 12 a break, Johnson? That's what I'm calling it. It's a break, because what comes after this looks to be 15 to 30 below for morning temperatures across the region. I'll say that again. Air temperatures 15 to 30 below, with highs in the day below zero. Suffice it to say, the January thaw looks to be coming to an end. All right, one last thing to take a peek at here is that Sunday snow. How much you talking there, Mr. Hutch? Blowing snow, gusty across parts of western and central North Dakota, a trace to a half of an inch. Not going to add a lot to the new totals, but any snow you have sticking around because we don't warm up will blow once again. So keep that in mind. In addition to a ½ inch to an inch for most in the Red River Valley, the way it looks right now. This could change, and I'll keep you apprised of that. The heavier snow, where I've drawn that green line there, we'll see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of fresh snow, along with winds gusting over 40 miles per hour, so another tricky day. Now, if you add in the 2 to 5 inches of snow in the Arrowhead of Minnesota, some areas could have 8 inches of powder to blow around on Sunday, making it pretty tricky travel. And that is why it is an excellent idea. Not a swell idea, but an excellent idea for you to search Hutch's Weather in the App Store today. Or head over to my website. And on my website, on the top bar, you're going to see the download the app link. You can download the app. And let me show you one of the beautiful tools that is available on the app for you. And that's the fact that when you open the app up, number one, I've got great sponsors that made the app possible. Without them, I couldn't have put this together. Now, you can get the latest video. Right now, I'm live. It'll show you that on your app. Not only that, you've got the details. Oh, and I sent a notification. Did you get a notification that I was going live here to tear this storm apart and let you know when it would be at its worst? Tess is guessing 1.7 inches. You got to give me a location. If that's Fargo, let me know your snowfall forecast and your location. That'll be a fun game to play. Okay, here's the road report. This is what makes Hutch's Weather app the best tool out there when it comes to winter weather. Now, we're going to have wind, we're going to have gusty winds, and we're going to have some snow, and we're going to have slippery roads. So if you push on the road report, a couple of things you can get. Now, all the states in our region, the DOT updated all day, every day. Is it perfect? No. Neither is Hutch's forecast, I'm ashamed to say. But you know what? If it was perfect every time, then I guess I would be covering more than our area. And it's one of those things that keeps us all humble. Now, you've got Manitoba, you got Saskatchewan, and we've added Wisconsin based on your requests. So across our region, you can press what state you're looking for. You scroll up, you can zoom into the map, and you can see that right now in North Dakota, we have very ice-covered and snow-covered roads in the northern Red River Valley from our morning shot of snowfall out there. There are no travel advisories in central North Dakota. If you zoom right in, you can see we have purple. That's snow-covered roads and icy roads on Highway 2 from Minot in toward Williston. What about Minnesota? That's where the majority of today's snow fell. What do your roads look like? You push on it. I like to get rid of this extra menu by hitting this down button right there. You get that out of your way. You use your fingers and pinch, and you can see blue means partially covered roads, and pink roads here are completely covered roads. So most of the snow impacts from today's snow that we did get are all up north. There are no travel advisories right now, and that was more of a little bit of a wet snow with temperatures warming into the 30s out there. So keep that in mind. That's going to ice up and become a little bit slippery. Now, pro tip, the cameras are always on the Minnesota layer here. Let's go in and take a peek at what we have going on in and around International Falls right now. So now we're looking at International Falls roads. I'm going to zoom in on this car out here, and you can see there are some tricky travel conditions there and some hazy skies. Hit the X and you can zoom in along your route no matter where you're going. Hey, Heidi says, what's the best way to track future cloud coverage on your app, Hutch Johnson? If you would like, I can go over that right now for you. And then I see another question. Thanks for adding Wisconsin, says Gary. You betcha is what we say here in the upper Midwest. How in the world do you get clouds? Let's go right to it. First of all, go to the menu bar. We'll take you to the home page. I have the label on the radar map here as Radar Plus. It's not just a radar. It's for plotting and mapping data. But I can't put Radar Plus, the plotting and mapping of data. Nobody reads that. So remember, the plus means you can get more information than just the radar. That's where you can see the cloud cover. Now, the future cloud cover, that's not something that you're going to be able to plot on this particular model, but you can take a look at where things are now. And if you're the Heidi that I'm thinking of, Heidi, You like to know when and where you can see the northern lights and if it's going to be a possibility. So I get that. Now let's take a look. One thing we can do, you click on this button up here, or you can click on the layers button, but this bar that says future radar, right now what I'm looking at is future radar, and the colors here are the alerts that have been issued by the National Weather Service. If you go and click on that future radar, these are the layers that are plottable. There is only future radar. I don't have future wind gusts yet. I'll show you where you can find some information on this, Heidi. And future precip accumulation, snow. There is not a future layer for clouds on the app. I'll put that in as a recommendation. Let's go, though, to a tool that Hutch uses, and that's called the infrared satellite at night. During the day, you can look at the visible satellite, but the infrared satellite, if you click that on, you're going to replace the future radar with that. Now we'll go back to the map and we're going to tell it to automate. I've looked at models every day for the last 30 years, and I cannot tell you how many days the model says 100% clouds, and yet it's crystal clear outside. So I like to look at real information that's out there now and project it for the next couple of hours. So this is just a little bit of guesstimate work by you, but if you put this by pressing the play button here, the cloud tells you what time the data is from. So if we scroll the cloud back, this data is from 1:45 this afternoon, and you can see the band of clouds moving through the valley. And there's a little break in the clouds right here over Winnipeg to Minot and right down into Glendive, Montana. And then as we continue it into right now time frame around 6:40, we've got the band of clouds extending right through southern parts of South Dakota. What is that? That looks like a lightning strike. Has there been a lightning strike in western parts of North Dakota right now? I'll have to check on that, but the lightning detection network has picked up a lightning strike, and Hutch's app will tell you if a lightning is struck within 15 miles of your location, making it, in my opinion, one of the handiest tools to have along. All right, so that is a look. Now, what does this mean? That means for the next few hours, if you look at remember the speed of the winds today are 50 to 100 miles an hour up above the ground. So you can assume that these clouds are going to be zipping by from northwest to southeast at least 50 to 70 miles per hour. That means what's in Minot will only take, as the crow flies, a good couple hundred miles to get here. 100 there, 100 there. So it's only going to take about 3 hours for that batch of clouds to get here. So that's a tool that you can use to see where there are clear spots and then project it for the next few hours. And it is the best that the app can do as far as the future clouds go at this particular time. For today's storm, though, you want to talk winds, I want to show you a tool, and Heidi, I'll show you a tool too. If you go back to the home page here on the app and you scroll to this data section right here, your current forecast, it will be tuned to your region. So your area, if you let it track your phone. I'm broadcasting from my studios in Moorhead, Minnesota. There is a weather alert. We can click on that to find out more details about that winter weather advisory that's in place for Moorhead. Now, how do I know hour by hour what the clouds are going to do? Heidi, this is a real good tool for the next 24 hours. If you scroll down to the hourly forecaster, you click here where it says hourly, this is the tool for you. Remember, this is just one computer forecast model. I can't put all 10 of them on the phone and have it still work in a speedy fashion for you. But what I can do is show you what my model is showing for cloud covers. Do you see these little down arrows here? You can expand for more detail on any hour. Here, if I'm reading this for Moorhead, it says the chance of precipitation in Moorhead really dramatically increases between midnight and 2 a.m. from 40 to 70%. So in that area, if I expand, we can see the wind says 24 miles per hour, but that's not the whole story. You get the whole story by hitting this extension. Conditions cloudy, that is a tool for telling you the cloud coverage, and the wind gusts to 34. So notice that as our chance of precip increases to 40%, the wind is still not ripping to 50 miles per hour here. How fast will the winds get? You can kind of investigate your area. You can see the cloud coverage, really decent snow chances as we go through here, where it goes up to 70%, and those wind gusts as we go through the morning hours. And then if we continue on through our day, we see a gradual reduction in the percentage chance of precipitation as well as our temperatures. What about the winds as we go into the 9 p.m. hour tomorrow? What I was showing you on the model that we all looked at together, that would be some of the gustiest times in and around Moorhead and the Red River Valley counties of Minnesota and North Dakota. And has gusts at this particular snapshot in time to 35 miles per hour. So this tool here, the hourly forecast, even though it's just numbers and not pretty pictures, really has a lot more than meets the eye when you first look at it. So if you take the time to download my app, thank you very much. If you have a comment, a question, or a concern, you drop me an email, you contact me, or you put it in one of these. I do read my comments, so please keep that in mind. Further down the road here, you're going to find a lot of information, and your reports are key in events like this. If you are traveling tomorrow, you can let all of us know what you're experiencing by scrolling right here and uploading your content. Photos and short video clips right from your device, right to Hutch's Weather. I get an email saying, hey, somebody sent you a picture, and I go look at it and approve it. Hey, snow reports, that's handy. No, you're not giving them here, but what you are doing is looking at what snow has fallen, not just here, but across the entirety of the nation. So as we open this up, it says, whoa, Hutch is live now. I guess I am. Thank goodness. It's been a pretty good day. Now, as we go on through, you got to scroll down a little bit lower to get to the map here. And once you get to that map, you're going to be able to see, where are you, map? Okay. I think something weird happened on this. So I'm going to go back to the home screen and I'm going to go back to the snow reports. My apologies. It loaded like two things at once there. Okay, so now, there we go. There, now I'm moving the map around. And now if I use my fingers to pinch, I can zoom out and across our nation, and we did get a couple snowfall reports in Minnesota, a couple little blue dots showing that we got some light snow amounts here. But if you look down here, those little red dots tell us that if you were east of Chicago, you got shellacked today by snow. Elkhart, Indiana, South Bend, Indiana, 6 inches to a foot of snow thanks to that lake effect snow that they had out there. A tool in your hand to keep eyes on the skies for you, and I love it, and I appreciate your comments. And another thing that you can plot on the radar map, if we go back to that one more time, is power outages. I'm not predicting power outages, but with wind and if we get some trees falling with 70-mile-per-hour gusts out in the western Dakotas there, I guess it could be a possibility. So what we'll do is we'll go to the, let's use the layers tab this time, that little slice of paper, get to the same spot. And now we go down here and let's look at the county level or national. Let's go to the state level power outages. We'll plot that, hit the back arrow to go back to the map. And oh, I probably better turn off all these watches and warnings and advisories across the United States. Do you see the blue colors in California? Some power outages there. Not only do we have a lightning strike in southwest parts of North Dakota, apparently, but Mexico is seeing quite a bit of a thunderstorm activity. And as we look at other power outage potential areas, everything in the state of Florida is blue. Is that a power outage? It looks like it. So if we click on it, we should be able to find out a little bit more information about that. But I do think that is some power outages across the state of Florida. So you can take that down to the county level as well. Thanks for watching. That is a review of tonight's weather and what we're expecting to be happening by tomorrow. Gusty all day for about 24 hours in the western half of the Dakotas. The eastern half of the Dakotas, it will be more pulsy. The wind and the snow will combine in areas at times to produce near zero visibilities briefly. And for some of you, by the end of the day, when the snow totals start adding up, particularly in northern Minnesota, those conditions for travel could be quite tricky all day long. Now, your questions. Dennis, thank you for that. It says question. Let me see. I got to go. What's the weather for Des Moines, Iowa of snow? Dennis, thank you for your question. Let's go right to the details. I'm going to show you on the app how to get that, and then we'll look at Hutch's map. Going right back to my app, Dennis, and thanks for downloading it. No matter if you're in Des Moines, Iowa, or in Fargo, North Dakota, or if in your Pierre or in Aberdeen, you can use the app to take a look at this. Go to the map layer here where we're at. I'll show you how to get there. It's called the Radar Plus layer. And if you go here, you can actually take a look at the snowfall reports by turning it on up here. So go back up to this little layer button, and we're going to look for the precipitation forecast, snow accumulation. That's what we want. And we want it for Des Moines, Iowa. A couple of places you can find it. This is one of the easier ones. Now, when you go back to this map, you got to remember to press the play button. This is the accumulation so far today that was expected by the model. But now as we go through time, we'll advance it. Woo-wee! Do you see that purple there? This one model, not necessarily always Hutch's forecast, but this one model is showing some more lofty snowfall potential in and around Des Moines. How much is that? Well, we got to get back so we can see our legend, and I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to go back to my other place where I keep this. I'm going to go to the home screen here. I'm going to go to my road report. On the road report, it's not just road conditions. At the bottom, I have that snowfall map, so I think I can see, there it is, snow accumulation forecast. You hit play, you let it go to the end, it's loading it up, and there you go. And now you can see the legend at the bottom of the page. I got to call my developer and tell him I couldn't see the legend at the bottom of the page. We'll get that fixed. Okay, if we click on the Now button, it'll show now, and if we load up the whole loop, we'll pause it there at the end, and we'll go to Iowa. It does look like parts of central Iowa could see a band of enhanced snow. Let's see if it goes all the way through here. It's loading. It's thinking. You know, that purple might have been some other kind of an advisory in that area. So we got light snow amounts here, and by the scale, it's generally a little bit heavier in northern and eastern parts of Iowa as you get on up into areas, east of Mason City and out towards Dubuque and Davenport and those areas, out towards Madison, Wisconsin and Green Bay, it's a little bit heavier. There will be wind for you as well. So thank you for your question. All right, Luca Blacksmith, question, go. Is Langley Fina snow? Is Langley Fina snow? I'll have to pass on that one. Let's see, what's the weather in South Dakota? Well, you're going to have very, very windy conditions. Western half of South Dakota could see gusts over 55 to 70 miles per hour. There'll be narrow bands of some snow, but not heavy, and it will be most prominent in the northern one half of South Dakota. How much? A half of an inch to an inch in some of the heavier places until you get into the Sisseton Hills area and the eastern, let's call it 1/5 of the state of South Dakota. The I-29 corridor could have a few places that get 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches in and around the Sisseton Hills the way it looks. I hope that answers your question. I predict Steele's getting 2.5 inches of snow. Thank you. I'll just call you FJ. Thank you. Dennis says, what's the weather for Des Moines? We went, and thank you for Wisconsin. We got that. Clint, 1 inch is the forecast for Fargo. Let's see what we get. That sounds good. Hey, sleet in Spooner, Wisconsin this afternoon, Gary. Holy smokes. Haven't decided if he's going to Bagley or Ashland tomorrow yet or not. But, you know, as the north winds take hold there in the south shore of Lake Superior, things can get pretty rough and tumble with the north wind causing those enhanced lake effect snows out in your area. Blue Minnesota farmer. My daughter plans on driving to Twin Cities Saturday. Any issues? It's a break in the storm. I-29 or I-94. I don't know the route, but it does look like there'll be improved conditions on Saturday, decreasing winds as we go through our day, particularly in the afternoon. We'll get a nice little break there. Could you teach middle school science? You would inspire them. Substitute 206. I taught college meteorology for 17 years. And I love talking weather with area students and kids as well. Again, we'll take a quick look at what's going on with the current conditions. We looked at this ad lib, but essentially the winds will be increasingly gusty, and tonight we'll get some snow through the area. Thank you for your comments and kind words. Last year, says Kay, on the 15th, we had 62 below wind chills. That sounds pretty cold. That'll keep a stiff upper lip, won't it? Caleb says, thanks for the updates. What does Park Rapids look like for tomorrow traveling there from Perham? If you're in Perham, you'll have a little less snow, but as you go north, it looks like it will increase as we go through. I will put up my snowfall forecast once again, just to show you where the chances are a little greater. This is going to be a real banded type of system where we get heavier bands of snow here and there. So keep that in mind. But here is a look at the snowfall potential as we get into your area here. Look at that. So Otter Tail County down here, as you go south, almost nothing. So you're not bad in Perham. But as you go up to the north here, getting closer to, say, Wadena and those areas, that's where things get a little bit more icy and dicey. And here is, let's see, there's Bemidji, there's Park Rapids. So a little bit of a gap on this particular model, but not too far to the west. It's a little bit heavier. We're talking about an inch of snow. In isolated places, we could get a little bit more than that by the time we're going through the day, and your timing on the travel does matter. This snow will continue to add up as we go into the afternoon hours, Caleb. Thanks for watching. Kristen, when is it safe window to travel? Grand Grand Rapids, home to DL. Can I go either I can go Friday or Saturday. Saturday looks the best, Kristen, with that particular travel area. Once this storm is done and the wind starts decreasing Saturday, midday, it looks like we'll see a decrease in clouds and wind speeds, and there should be chance for any of those drifts to be at least cleared a little bit. I'll bet there'll be some slippery spots, though, so please travel with caution. All right. Crystal, do you highlight days that there might be bad weather like another news station in Fargo does? Another news station does that? What I do on the 7-day here is if I think there might be a dangerous day, I'll let you know with a little red. I'm using purple for those cold weather days where there might be some impacts to travelers, a good idea. And notice it's really gonna be balmy and nice out here. I don't use terminology like some of the other places do, but the bottom line is that I think the goal is to make sure you're aware. And one of the most difficult things to do is to explain everything that I just did in this. Well, now I don't know how long this has been, about a 40-minute broadcast so far. But I've been able to answer questions. I've been able to track this storm from Montana to Wisconsin. And I've been able to tell you when it will be worse in each location. That's more important to me, and I hope it's more helpful to you. So if you like that, give a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Let's see if we got more comments coming in. Love how the app tracks you, Gary. It's a wonderful thing to make sure that you set that app up to track your current location. When you first download it, it'll ask you. You might say, I don't want Hutch's weather tracking where I am. That's not what it's about. If you take your phone and you're driving over the hills and you're going through the woods and you're going to grandmother's house and she lives somewhere out of the region, let's say you're driving to Des Moines. If there's a blizzard warning in a county you're driving through, would you want to know that? Well, then let Hutch's weather app follow your location. And as you go into a county where an error is, where a warning is in place, you'll know about it. Thanks, Val. I appreciate the stars. Rick Fox, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you for your support of Hutch's weather. And on my website, too, thanks to my friend Joe for putting together what I think is the best weather page in the region. Number one, you got all of this access to information, the roads that we talked about. But for those of you that contribute to me all the time, if you're interested in taking something home with you and having it, I've got the shop. Many of you asked for merchandise and now it's here. So if you go to Hutch's shop on the website or on the app, you can take a look at some of the great stuff that's available. Check it out, folks. Oh, let's see. Here it is. So as you're taking a look, we've got the Pedro stuff. We've got shovel trouble stuff. We got travel trouble stuff. And, well, look at that. We got Predict the Lightning. Not the season for it, but it's a nice shirt. And if you'd like to take a look at some of this, you can get these designs on mugs, on bottles, on hats and caps and the like. So thanks so much for all of your support. If you do order, thank you in ahead of time, and thanks to all of you who have ordered thus far. And thank you so very much to all of you who have also supported Hutch in other ways that are available on the site. So viewer picks, they've come in today. Let's go over a couple of those. Oh dear, look at this. Stacy Moe in Vergas, Minnesota saying, it's now daylight long enough to see the deer a little more frequently. So that's not a bad thing. And driving around these parts during this time of the year can provide its challenges. So you got to keep your eyes on the skies or roads for them. And you know what? If you can't beat the winter weather, you may as well join it. Check out this. We got us a very happy looking pair of snow people out there by HS in Grandin. Snowmen in the sunset. And they're cheering on the weather. They're like, yes, cold front. We like those. And they're booing. And I think that is an excited snowman about the fact that the January thaw is wrapping up. Thanks to all of you who have uploaded pictures, and I just want to make a call out to you right now. If the weather gets a little icy and dicey in your area, take your device out, snap a picture, go to my weather app and then upload that photo. Let us know. And if you're measuring snow, let us know. Even if it's a drift, just tell us that. Let us know the exact location you are and the description and how much snow you measured, and if it was a drift or if it was an average or if it really is a good representation of what's there. All right, let's see. How about Bayfield and Ashland on Saturday? That should be improving, but you will still have north winds on Saturday there. And I do think we'll still have some concerns in that neck of the woods with regards to that weather. So because you asked, I aim to please, and we'll wrap this up here after this. But essentially, well, I'm wandering eyeballs here because I'm looking for a map. There it is. I found it. Okay, I'm going to adjust this map so we can see Bayfield a little more clearly here. So we'll go ahead and adjust the region, and we'll go over here to Wisconsin and Illinois, and we'll be able to see what's going on here. I want to load up the most recent model data, and I want to take a look at your area in that Bayfield area. So you can clearly depict and pick out where it is here. As you look into the state of Wisconsin and you get into Lake Superior and right up in here, that's where we have, oh, there it is. There's the islands. You have all the fun right there. So that's the focal point for this little update on what Saturday looked like. The timeline is up above. Now, as we go through the day on Friday in the wee hours of the morning, there'll be some chances of snow making their way through. And look at this. This is the low pressure center. The wind will be the weakest at this point as we go through noonish on the Bayfield area as we go through Friday. Noon Friday, that wind is at its least. Now I'm going to need to go grab the model run that goes out just a little farther for us. Pardon me. There we go. Okay, so this one didn't go out far enough, and we'll see how this one's doing with it. Now, as we go into Friday night, you see the isobars get closer together in Bayfield, so the wind really picks up Friday afternoon, Friday night. There'll be some wraparound snow on the backside of that system with winds from the northeast here and east blasting the area, but you don't see widespread heavy snow as the low pressure center is evacuated off to the east just a little bit. So there will be some snowfall, and there will still be gusty winds. This is noon on Saturday, by the way, and we'll have very strong north and northeast winds across the entirety of the region. So the snow that does fall in that area will be blowing around, drifting, and there will be some well, tricky areas of travel as well. So all right, I think that's it. Let me see if I can, well, what happened to my monitor? It just shut off on me. I think my computer says it's time to eat a sandwich. Let me see if I can load that up on another window here. Okay, give me a break here for a second while I reset a monitor. Pardon me. I'm doing computer repair work right here. I'm sorry. There we go. Close up of Hutch. All right, now we got it. Okay, so I had a monitor die on me in the middle of this broadcast, but now I think I've got it back up and running. Not sure what happened there. I apologize for that. I knocked a light out of place, but now we're back in business. So trying to answer problems as we go. So snowfall potential in your particular area, as we take a look at that tomorrow forecast, you're looking at Bayfield, and that's right here with the islands. And by tomorrow night and into Saturday morning, there will be plenty of snow in the northern portions of Wisconsin, but a nice area of just 1 inch of snow or less across parts of central, north central Wisconsin as well. So decreasing winds won't happen until the latter hours of Saturday. You'll still be gusty, so that's where I'd watch. So check the app out, use the Wisconsin road conditions that we put up there for you, and get the very latest. All right, I do think that that is a look at Hutch's weather. I think that's all I got, and for now, I'm going to go ahead and check out and see if I can fix all my equipment here for the next update. I'll be here tomorrow covering what's going on, but for now, have a wonderful Thursday night.
This has been a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wait, you forgot the new app. You're right, I did. Don't forget to download our new app. Oh, now let's rock. Thanks for watching Hutch's